right, what are your names?
Rachel.
Allison.
All right, what does service mean to you personally?
Service is, I guess it's giving back without the expectation of compensation.
I don't know. I would have said that probably a while ago. I was a Peace Corps volunteer, and so now service, I don't know, service to me is a little bit more selfish now, kind of ironically. It's more like, it's an incredible learning experience.
What did you guys think of the summit? What did the candidates speak to that you hoped they'd speak to? Were there things that they didn't speak to that you were hoping they would?
I thought they both really addressed their issues and their stance relating to service, but I would have liked to see a little bit more of their stance on other issues that that are also meaningful to people of our generation.
I don't know, I guess, again, as a Peace Corps volunteer, I would have liked them to address a little bit more. They kept talking about making AmeriCorps a Peace Corps. They kept talking about them and how they should be bigger. And nobody ever addressed the fact that Bush, right after 9/11, made this big call to these organizations and said something like, we had to have 13,000 volunteers in Peace Corps and yet cut funding. I was one of those that had my malaria medicine taken away because there was no funding for it. So
I was also, to add, I worked for a community-based organization and was laid off right after that, directly due to those budget cuts. And that was teaching immigrants right here in East Harlem. So
neither of the candidates addressed those budget cuts. It was all, it felt like it was all fluff and no substance in that sense.
What can candidates do beyond talking about these issues? What would they be able to do with their actions to inspire people to serve?
Well, I mean, I think things that they both touched on, facilitating the ability to serve. If service is really only an option for the privileged, then that, I think that really diminishes the value of service and its impact overall. So if service really does become something that only an elite few can afford to do, that's really unfortunate. So I think they both had some good ideas, but there really needs to be a substantive look, and I don't think that needs to be tied to the act of doing service. It needs to be tied to the act of being a young person in the United States. If education is more affordable, if life is more sustainable, then that will facilitate service, not necessarily funding service in and of itself. That's my personal view on that.